Good morning, everyone. It's the 27th of April, 2023. I called this video The Deceitfulness of Riches. You know, I heard yesterday a person who had done some research on 10 of the richest people in the world. And then he read what actually happened to those 10 people. 4 of them committed suicide and 6 of them died paupers. 4 of them committed suicide and 6 of them died paupers. The Bible tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil. You know, money is a means of exchange. The Bible talks about the deceitfulness of riches. You know, when one relies on anything other than Christ, that is an idol. Whether it's money, whether it's fame, whether it's education, whether it's theology, seminary, denominations, anything that is placed above Christ is idolatry. And really, people are afraid of losing their riches. And because of their fear, they will not speak the truth oftentimes. They will do what's politically correct. They won't come out and take a stand for the Word of God because they don't want to lose what they have counted so much on. Well, I'm glad we have the Word of God. Revelation 3:17, because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods. What makes men afraid of sovereign grace to preach? The reason is, if true be said, because they are so rich. Why so offensive in their eyes does God election seem? Because they think themselves so wise that they have chosen him. How often have I heard people talk about, I'm thankful when I let Jesus do this, when I let Jesus in my heart. I'm glad that I accepted Jesus. I'm glad I allowed Jesus to do this. That's really putting man on the throne. We don't allow God to do anything. We don't let God. God doesn't need our permission. A perseverance, why so loath are some to speak or hear, because as masters over sloth they vow to persevere. Where is imputed righteousness, a point so little known, because men think they all possess some righteousness their own? Look at all the things I've done for God, you know. I've preached around the world. I've done this, I've done that. We're all guilty of it. Not so the needy, helpless soul prefers his humble prayer. He looks to him that works the whole and seeks his treasure there. His language is, let me, my God, on sovereign grace rely, and own 'tis free because bestowed on one so vile as I. Election 'tis a word divine, for Lord I plainly see, had not thy choice prevented mine, I'd never had chosen thee. Well, that was my experience, you know. Who would ever flee to the cross of Christ and recognize their own vileness and sin and separation from God had not God intervened in his sovereign grace? No one. No one. For perseverance strength I've none, but would on this depend, that Jesus, having loved his own, he loved them to the end. Empty and bare I come to thee for righteousness divine. O may thy matchless merits be by imputation mine. Thus differ these, yet hoping each to make salvation sure. Now most men would approve the rich, but Christ has blessed the poor. Yes, if you look at man and what they put their acceptance and approval on, it's usually those who are at the top of the top in terms of social status and money and fame and all those other things. But God, through his Son Jesus Christ, showed us while he walked this earth that he reached out to the feeble, the poor, the needy, the blind, the lame, and he forgave them much, did he not? You look at people like Mary Magdalene, Martha, Mary, and Lazarus, the man with the withered hand, the man with the palsy, the lepers. I'm glad that God looks upon the leper's sins, and he has gone to the cross to deliver them. And because of his perfect sacrifice on the cross, we have his imputed righteousness, not anything that we could bring to the table. So let us remember that trusting in our own merits and our own righteousness and our own achievements is idolatry. Jesus paid it all. Sin had left a crimson stain. He washed it white as snow. May the good Lord be with you today is my prayer, and my prayer today is, Lord, help us to always remember that you're the Redeemer, and you came to save your people from their sins, and you finished it at the cruel and rugged cross of Calvary. God bless.